Sometimes, the people we overlook are the ones carrying the heaviest secrets. And sometimes, one small act of kindness or one desperate cry for help changes everything. It was an ordinary Tuesday afternoon in downtown Chicago. The lunch rush was in full swing, and the chatter of customers blended with the clinking of silverware. At the corner of the busy diner sat a man, dressed in faded jeans and a plain flannel shirt. He looked like just another working-class guy grabbing a quick bite. No one noticed that his watch, tucked under his sleeve, cost more than most cars parked outside. That man was Michael Hayes, a self-made millionaire. But today, no one knew. He didn't come here to flaunt his wealth. He came here undercover, hoping to see how everyday people lived and how they treated someone they thought had nothing. The waitress walked up, not knowing her next move would change both of their lives forever. She was young, maybe mid-20s, with tired eyes that didn't match her smile. Her name tag read Emily. She spoke softly, with that warm yet rushed tone servers master when they're on shift. "Hi there, what can I get for you today?" Michael smiled politely. "Just a cheeseburger and black coffee, please." She nodded, scribbling it down before moving on to the next table. But as Michael watched her, something about her struck him. The way she kept checking the clock, the way her hands trembled when she picked up plates. She wasn't just tired, she was scared. Halfway through his meal, Emily walked past his table and, without saying a word, slipped a folded piece of paper under his coffee mug. She kept walking as if nothing happened. Michael's eyes narrowed. He glanced around. Nobody else seemed to notice. He slowly unfolded the note. And when he read it, his heart nearly stopped. It said, "Please, help me." What could possibly drive a young woman to secretly beg a stranger for help in the middle of a crowded diner? The shocking truth behind Emily's note will soon begin to unravel, and Michael will face a choice that could change everything. Michael thought he came here for just a meal, but he was about to get served something far more dangerous, the truth. He folded the note back into his hand and glanced up. Emily was refilling coffee at another table, pretending nothing happened. But he could see it, the urgency in her eyes. She was drowning in silence, hoping someone would notice. When she came back with the check, Michael leaned forward. "Are you okay?" he whispered. Emily froze. Her smile flickered, and for a second, he thought she might burst into tears. But she just shook her head and muttered, "Enjoy your meal." Michael sat back, conflicted. He wasn't supposed to get involved. He had built his fortune by keeping his personal life guarded, by never letting emotions cloud his judgment. But something in her eyes reminded him of his younger sister, the one he lost years ago, who had begged him for help he didn't give soon enough. That guilt still haunted him, so he stayed. He ordered another coffee. He waited until the diner began to empty. Finally, when Emily came to clear his plate, he quietly slid the note back to her. "Tell me what this means." Her eyes darted to the kitchen door. She whispered so faintly he could barely hear, "I can't talk here. He'll see." Michael stiffened, who before she could answer, a man stormed out of the kitchen. Greasy apron, sharp eyes, fists clenched. "The manager," he barked. "Emily, back to work." Now Emily flinched, nodded, and hurried away. The manager's glare lingered on Michael for just a second too long. It was the kind of look that said, "Stay out of it." Michael leaned back, his mind racing. Something wasn't right. What secret is Emily hiding? And who is the man watching her so closely? The danger Emily faces will finally come into focus, and Michael will be forced to decide how far he's willing to go for a stranger. Stay with me. When you see someone in trouble, do you walk away or do you step in, even if it costs you everything? Michael left the diner, but couldn't shake the image of Emily's desperate eyes. He sat in his car across the street, watching as she carried trays, wiped tables, and avoided the manager's gaze. Hours passed. Finally, when the neon closed sign flickered on, she slipped out the back door, clutching her worn-out jacket. Michael stepped out of his car. "Emily." She jumped, eyes wide. "You shouldn't be here." "Then tell me why you slipped me that note." Her hands trembled. She bit her lip, as if debating whether to trust him. Finally, she whispered, "He's not just my manager, he's my landlord too, and he's been threatening me, saying if I don't pay him double rent, or worse, he'll make me lose my job and my apartment." Michael felt his stomach twist. This wasn't just stress, this was survival. "Why didn't you go to the police?" Tears welled in her eyes. Because he's got people. He knows where I live. I have a little brother at home. If I make one wrong move, I'm scared of what he'll do to us. Michael clenched his fists. This was no longer just about a waitress and her note. This was about power, control, and fear. And he couldn't walk away. But before he could respond, the manager's voice thundered behind them. Emily, what did I tell you about talking to customers after hours? Emily froze. Michael turned to face him. The man's face twisted with rage. You better mind your own business, old man, the manager growled. Or you'll regret it. Michael just wanted a quiet meal. Now, he's staring danger in the face. Sometimes, the most dangerous people hide in plain sight, but sometimes, so do the ones who can save us. Michael stood tall, locking eyes with the manager. He wasn't afraid, but he couldn't reveal who he really was. Not yet. I'm just checking if she's okay, Michael said evenly. The manager sneered. She's fine, and if you know what's good for you, you'll leave. Now, Emily whispered, please, just go, but her voice cracked with fear. Michael saw the bruises peeking out from under her sleeve. That was enough. He took out his wallet and pulled out a business card. Emily, if you need help, call this number anytime. Don't wait. The manager snatched the card from her hand and ripped it in half. I said leave. Michael walked away, but not before locking eyes with Emily. A silent promise passed between them. This isn't over. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of Emily and her little brother trapped under that man's control kept him awake. Finally, he picked up his phone and called a contact, a lawyer, one of the best. I need a background check. Name's Carl Dawson. Owns Dawson's Diner. By morning, the truth was out. Carl Dawson wasn't just a manager. He had a history of predatory evictions, shady business practices, even assault charges that mysteriously disappeared. Michael knew then, Emily wasn't safe. The next evening, Michael returned to the diner. This time, he wasn't alone. His lawyer sat across from him, and in his pocket was evidence that could ruin Carl Dawson's entire world. But as he waited, Emily approached, her face pale. She slipped another note onto his table. This one didn't say help me. It said, don't come back. He knows who you are. Emily knows Michael's secret, and Carl is one step ahead. The truth is about to finally explode, and the choice Michael makes could either destroy him or save them all. Sometimes, doing the right thing costs more than we're willing to pay, but it always pays back in ways we never expect. Michael froze as he read Emily's second note. How did she know who he was? He looked up. Her eyes said it all. Carl had figured it out. Moments later, Carl stormed over. So, Mr. Millionaire, he sneered, loud enough for the whole diner to hear. Thought you could play hero. Thought I wouldn't find out who you really are. Gasps filled the diner. Emily's hands flew to her mouth. Michael stood slowly. You're right. My name is Michael Hayes. And yes, I could buy this diner 100 times over. But today, I'm here for something money can't buy: justice. He laid down a thick folder on the table, evidence of Carl's illegal schemes. The lawyer beside him announced, this is enough to shut you down permanently, unless you walk away now and leave Emily and every tenant you've threatened alone. Carl's face turned red, his fists trembling. But the walls were closing in. Customers were filming on their phones. He had no escape. Finally, he spat on the ground and stormed out. Emily collapsed into a chair, tears streaming down her face. I don't know how to thank you. Michael smiled gently. You don't owe me anything. Just promise me one thing. When you see someone else hurting, don't look away. Step in. Emily nodded, holding back sobs. For the first time in months, she felt free. Michael walked in for a simple meal and walked out having changed a life. Because sometimes the greatest wealth isn't what's in your bank account, it's what you choose to give when someone needs it most. Moral of this story: never underestimate the power of stepping in. You may think your actions are small, but to someone else, they could mean everything. Sometimes it takes just one small choice to step in and make a difference in someone's life. You never know who might be silently asking for help. So if you ever see someone struggling, don't ignore it, because your action could change everything for them. If this story touched you, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful tales that inspire change. And let us know in the comments, have you ever had a moment where helping someone else changed your life too?